What up, y'all? It is your boy Darius, and I'm back, y'all. So we have a special video we're gonna react to, y'all. Now this one said the tragic story of Eminem'S family. So let's just check this video out, y'all. Now tell me, guys, let's get it.
You're watching Music Vibe, and this is the tragic history of Eminem's family and what actually happened to them.
Yeah, recipes to Debbie Mathers, though. The short condolences towards her because she passed away last year. So recipes to Debbie Mathers, though.
Debbie had a terribly rough life, and she went through a lot. She was born in 1955 at a military base in Kansas. Her parents constantly fought with one another, and her family was dysfunctional.
Damn.
Her mother gave birth to her at the age of 15, and she herself was escaping a particularly abusive past. Her mother and Eminem's grandma, whose name is Betty, also had an awful childhood.
Damn.
So awful, in fact, that when she found out that her mother is dying, she was happy about it.
Damn.
The way you beat and abused a little child, an innocent child. I said, you're going to hell, don't you?
From a very young age, Debbie had to grow up way too early. At just 11 years old, she managed the household, looked after her younger brothers, cooked, cleaned, and stood in line for hours to get free food. When her mother got married again, there came an aggressive and dangerous stepdad. He once attacked Debbie.
I was sexually assaulted by my one stepdad when I was 12. He didn't get the job complete because he was arrested.
And even despite the fact that he was arrested, her mother ended up not believing her, but believing him instead.
Damn.
It was precisely then that Debbie first ran away from home. She then met Bruce Mathers, and she married him when she was just 15 years old, after which she quit school. Even though she was smart and helped her friends with their studies, it seemed to her that if she's a wife, then she has to stay home. They really wanted kids, but the pregnancy just wasn't happening. Doctors said she was too thin. She was asked to gain weight and just wait for it to happen. In the end, at 16 years old, she finally fell pregnant. Bruce wasn't ready for her difficult family. He grew up in a loving, stable environment, so what Debbie had gone through was completely alien to him. But he promised that their children would never suffer the way she did. The promises turned out to be empty. When Debbie was 7 months pregnant, when she asked for help bringing down cans of paint, Bruce snapped. He started screaming and accusing her of being indifferent to him and that she ignores him. It all ended with him pushing her. She fell off the stairs.
Jeez.
Physically, she didn't sustain any serious injuries. Neither did the child. But psychologically, this was a turning point. This was the first time when Bruce overstepped the boundaries. On the 13th of October, 1972, her water broke. Contractions went on for 3 days. Doctors refused to do a C-section. After 72 hours of contractions, she started going into sepsis. Debbie lost consciousness. She went into a coma.
Man.
But a few days later, she woke up. She lived. She finally held her baby. Marshall Bruce Mathers III. Bruce chose the name while they thought that Debbie wouldn't make it. The doctors told her, "We thought you wouldn't survive." After the delivery, Debbie remained alone. Bruce disappeared.
Damn.
She worked wherever she could, as a waitress, a seller. She even drove an ice cream truck. She chose her schedules to match her son's. He often rode with her. In March of 1990, Debbie, along with Nathan and a friend called Gary, were all on their way to Michigan when their car was rear-ended by a drunk driver. The hit caused Debbie to launch forward, and her throat slammed into the steering wheel.
Jeez.
She initially thought this was just a bruise, but she soon lost her voice and couldn't even swallow anymore.
Man.
Instead of talking to her kids, she wrote notes, and she secretly spat out food into tissues.
Ugh.
She was diagnosed with dysphagia, an injury to the nerves of the vocal cords. She learned how to speak and swallow all over again. The process was excruciating. Later, Marshall claimed that he left school to take care of his mother, but according to Debbie's words, he quit school long before the accident. By that time, he already had a part-time job at a construction site. But what was tougher wasn't the physical, but the psychological consequence. Panic attacks, obsessive thoughts, and feelings that everybody is watching. She was prescribed medications, and it was exactly these that became the new reasons for accusations from Marshall's side. He claimed that his mother hid pills under the mattress and dumped his childhood trauma on her.
My mom suing for $10 million. She must want $1 for every pill I've been stealing.
It's also worth pointing out these lines from My Name Is, which offended her more than any other.
Was little, I used to get so hungry I would throw fits. How you gonna breastfeed me, mom? You ain't got no tits.
For her, this line was horrible and upsetting because she contracted toxemia blood poisoning when she gave birth to him and hadn't been able to breastfeed.
He needs to quit, making attacks on me. I mean, you don't do this to your mom. And it's so hard.
His mom sued him for disinformation in the amount of $10 million.
Damn.
However, she just got a $25,000 settlement. $23,354 of that went to her lawyer. He reconciled with his mom and apologized for everything he had said about her.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't hate you, cause mom, you're still beautiful to me, cause you're my mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those chapters. It was one of those things that was, bothered me for a little bit. It was one of those things I needed to get off my chest.
In turn, when Eminem was admitted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Debbie Mathers was barely able to hold back her tears of pride, congratulating her son with this achievement.
Marshall, I could not let this day go by without congratulating you on your induction to the Hall of Fame. I love you very much. I knew you would get there, and it's been a long ride. I'm very, very proud of you. And also, I'm very proud of Haley J, my baby girl. And I want to tell you, Haley, great job on your podcast. God bless you guys. I love you very much.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to make a beat for NBA Youngboy. We're going to Output's new plugin co-produce.
Debbie Nelson died in St. Joseph, Missouri. She was 69.
Damn. Rest in
She
peace,
battled
sir.
cancer for many years and ultimately succumbed to lung cancer.
Man. Alright, Eminem's father now.
Now it's time to talk about Eminem's dad, who essentially wasn't in Eminem's life at all. He wasn't a faithful husband as well, even though he promised that their children would never suffer the way she did. And what ended up happening? He cheated on Debbie and consumed a lot of alcohol. And this is despite the fact that Bruce grew up in a loving, stable environment. As we said earlier, he left their family. This happened 6 months after he was born. And after the breakup, Bruce Mathers moved to California, where he then got 2 other children. According to some reports, he worked at a plant and changed his place of living a few times while he established himself in the outskirts of San Diego. During that time, Eminem and his mom lived in Detroit with relatives and often moved to social housing. But very little was reported in the media about Marshall's not very known father. Many years later, when Eminem already got famous, Bruce Mathers made attempts to make contact with him. In 2001, he gave an interview with the British press and even published an open letter where he tried to explain his version of the events. He promised that he just wanted to meet his son and tell him that he loves him. Eminem responded saying he never once received a letter from his father, that all of his messages came back to him titled Unclaimed.
Wow.
In his own book, he spoke out about his father in the following way. I quote, "I won't lie. I will always have questions about my dad. However, I understood that I won't get answers, so he can get fucked. He can fuck off. I don't want to know this dude. How much of a jerk do you have to be to abandon a child?" He maintained contact with...
Yeah, man. I don't blame Eminem for this one, though. I mean, his father did abandon him at a young age, so I can say where Eminem's come from, because my father abandoned me as well, though, because I don't want no contact with him ever, because he's Levy. So I can say why. I don't know what Eminem talked about in the song about his father, though. I don't think he did, though. I could be wrong, though.
with other members of the family, as he maintained contact with my uncle and never even called his kid who never wronged him. He doesn't get to be forgiven as a parent for what he did. I don't give a... Even if they would be lost in Alaska or somewhere in the fucking desert, I would have found my girls. Bruce Mathers died at the end of June 2019 at the age of 68 years old.
Damn.
He died from a heart attack at home, not far from Fort Wayne, Indiana. An official commentary from Eminem about his father's death never followed, but in a song in 2020 by the name of Leaving Heaven, he let everyone understand that he feels no sympathy for his death. For him, he died when he was still alive.
I feel upset you were dead to me before you died. Me, Tino shit.
I gotta check that song out. Always have Brother Nathan.
Nathan was born in February of 1986, 13 years before his brother Marshall became Eminem. His appearance in this world was accompanied by fear and loneliness. After an unsuccessful ectopic pregnancy, doctors told Debbie that she wouldn't have any more kids. But she got pregnant again, and she was once again left alone. The man who Marshall called Dad was Fred. He ran away upon finding out about the kid. And this was only the beginning. When Debbie was attacked with a knife, the threat was not only aimed at her. The junkie threatened to cut the baby out of her stomach.
Jeez.
This triggered complications, and she laid in a hospital until the delivery. Nathan was born prematurely, weak, with his skin tainted yellow from jaundice, and endless colic attacks. Marshall, who was only 13 at the time, said, "Take him back." This was his childlike response to a world that didn't have enough space even for him. But Nathan's childhood wasn't just difficult, it was frightening as well. He had dyslexia, was bullied at school, and was always getting in trouble with teachers. He didn't fit in, just as his brother didn't fit in at his time. When he became a victim of a beating and got knocked in the head, he was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And then the state took him.
Jeez.
After a series of events, Nathan was forcefully seized from school and sent to a foster family. Debbie was accused of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. She was stripped of her parental rights and accused of cruelty that she never committed. This became a nightmare for her. She didn't know where he was. She couldn't see him. She wasn't told how he was doing. But salvation came from a place that nobody expected, from her roots. Through her father, Debbie proved her origins in the Cherokee tribe. This means that according to the law of 1978, the child could not be withheld away from his family. This was a pivotal moment. She was recognized. She was given a card, and for the first time, she had a chance of legally getting her son back. After a lengthy battle, the court admitted that the child should be with his mother. She was called a monster, but she turned out to be a mother who fought till the very end. After the reunion, Nathan lived with his mother, and then, when he was already a teenager, he started spending more time with Eminem. He went with him on tours, and in the end, he lived with Marshall, especially in the period when Debbie had health issues. And when Nathan was 16, Marshall got legal custody over 16-year-old Nathan.
That's good.
After all, since Eminem became famous, he had the opportunity to give him stability, protection, and normal conditions. According to Nathan's own words, Eminem was the only father figure in his life.
That's good, dog.
Look, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another YouTube video. In fact, you're literally only procrastinating.
We will now talk about Eminem's two uncles, who have long since passed away. Debbie had two younger brothers, Todd and Ronnie. They both went through hell, and they both left a deep impression in the life of the future rapper. Todd was the first one to rush to help Debbie when she was pregnant, and he was the one who wasn't afraid of standing between her and danger. But his life wasn't easy. He went to jail, and he was sentenced for murder and self-defense. He saved his kids from an armed freak. He came clean, he served, he lived in solitary, despised by others, and in pain. After he was set free, Todd tried to begin everything from scratch. He bought a house, he fell in love, and he began writing a book. But in the year of 2004, everything came crashing down. On the 17th of October, on Eminem's birthday, Todd was found dead.
Damn.
The police called it a suicide, but the bullet went through the back of his head, not in his chin. A letter was not found. The scene was not documented. There wasn't even a gun. And on the day of the funeral, Todd's house was robbed. The manuscript disappeared, and the will disappeared. Eminem didn't go to the funeral. He only called and said, "I'll pay for everything, but don't ask me to come." Debbie buried Todd next to someone who was even more important for Marshall. Ronnie was younger than Todd, and he was almost Marshall's age mate. They were 19 when they recorded their first tracks together. They were listening to LL Cool J together and dreaming about being on stage. They even became blood brothers, quite literally by cutting their hands. It was precisely thanks to Ronnie that Eminem became interested in hip-hop. In 1991, at Debbie's house, when an incident happened, an armed attack, to be specific, there was violence and fear, and Ronnie found himself in the midst of rumors. soon after that, he was found dead.
Jeez.
The official version is that he shot himself because of a breakup with his girlfriend, but the family didn't buy it. Ronnie feared weapons. He was discharged from the military for panicking upon seeing a rifle gun. Debbie and Marshall were sure that it was a murder, a revenge for Todd's actions. The thing is that in 1991, an unpleasant moment happened when Todd's wife's brother, Mike Harris, started threatening the family. He terrorized the house, broke electronics, put sugar in a gas tank, and once approached a car with kids with a shotgun in his hand. Todd saved the family by shooting first. He turned himself into the police, but the court didn't acknowledge the self-defense, and he was sentenced to 8 years behind bars.
Man.
A few weeks after the arrest, Ronnie was killed. However, the police said that Ronnie and his girlfriend had fought. He had also broken into the neighbor's home, grabbed a gun, and shot from it. And as you heard in the song Cleaning Out My Closet, the following lines are mentioned.
Remember when Ronnie died and you said you wished it was me? Well, guess what? I am dead. Dead to you as can be.
Sometime after the funeral, Debbie called him and they began arguing about something unrelated to Ronnie. During the argument, Debbie said she wished Eminem had died instead of Ronnie.
Damn.
Debbie herself has repeatedly apologized before Marshall for these lines, and she regretted having said them. In the end, Ronnie was a very important person for Eminem, and he had to go through his death with great difficulties.
Oh yeah, Eminem's ex-wife Kim.
Eminem met his future wife when he was still a teenager. Kim and her twin sister Dawn were runaways. Their childhood was hellish.
Jeez.
Poverty, violent stepdads, and sexual assault.
Jeez.
Kim ran away from home at the age of 12 years old. She was taken in by the Mathers family. Initially, she was taken in as a guest, later as a member of the house, and after that, as Marshall's first love. Kim was loud, charismatic, and impulsive, while Marshall was introverted, shy, and a visionary. It seems that the opposites attracted for survival, but the fairy tale quickly started to crack at the seams. They fought, made up, lived together, then again got together. There were times when Kim disappeared for months and then returned. She was leaving Marshall when he would lose his job, blaming him for his failures. And he was coming back for her and for their daughter. Haley Jade Scott came into the world in 1995. She became the meaning behind Marshall's life, even at the time when Kim didn't register him as her father. Even at the time when she said, "You're a nobody, you will never achieve anything."
Damn.
Kim became a heroine, not only in his life, but in his songs as well. He cursed her, wrote about her with hatred, and murdered her in tracks.
Yeah.
But through all that, he continued loving her. In 97, Bonnie and Clyde, he wrote how he got rid of her body.
1, 2, 3. Whee! There goes mama splashing in the water.
In Kim, he screams of pain and desperation. These songs became the most personal and the most shocking.
Yeah.
Make me wake this baby. She don't need to see what I'm about to do. Quit crying. Why you always make me shout at you?
Yeah, I gotta admit, man, when the song Kim came out, I thought he was like big on it. I didn't think he actually hated it though. Yeah, man, I didn't think that was a diss track. So, yeah.
Behind these words, there was a true story. In 2001, after a concert in Detroit where Eminem performed Kim in front of thousands of fans, including Kim, she tried to commit suicide.
Damn.
She was sent away to rehab. Then there was the wedding. In January of 2006, there was a second attempt. 82 days later, there came to the divorce. Since then, Kim's life has consisted of a series of attempts and failures, addictions, arrests, rehab admissions, and a suicide in 2021.
Man.
But she powered through every time. For Haley, for herself. Today, Kim lives away from the cameras. She almost never gives interviews, but she is still a part of this tragic story that formed Eminem.
Yeah.
And if his songs are a cry of pain, then Kim is his echo. By the way, they're obviously not friends, but they occasionally speak and see each other. For example, Kim was at Haley's wedding, which, of course, also included Marshall.
That's
Guys,
it.
everybody who has seen this video to the very end, I have a question. We can make more videos about how Eminem grew up, what was happening with his family, and so on. Hit the like button and leave a comment. This is a very condensed version of the story. The next video I recommend you check out is the story behind Eminem's alter ego.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Eminem lived a real horrible life, man, growing up. I know he didn't have the best childhood year though. Rest in peace to Debbie Mathers. A short condolences towards her. I know he made a song about her. What was the song? I'm trying to figure out what's the song. Clean My Closet. I didn't know that was a diss track when I reacted to it though. So I know they meant their relationship because he said it in an interview that he would never perform Clean My Closet out again because the song Headlights, because that's my favorite song of the Marshall LP2 album. The song that he did about his father on the Music Murder, I gotta do that one. I gotta check that out though, because Eminem don't get two fucks about him though. So Kim, I don't know where Eminem and Kim at this point. I think they're still cool though. I'm pretty sure they talk occasionally. So I hope Kim's doing okay though. Cause I know Haley, she has a son. So congratulations to Haley. I think I gotta do some more Eminem reaction though. So I think I gotta do some more of that though. So that's the video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.